everybody. Welcome to the TV Knitting Podcast. This is Sharon, also known as Stitch Mistress, pretty much everywhere on the internet. And welcome, this is episode 85. This is my 5th video episode. And I have lots to talk to you about today. So let's get started. So the first thing I want to talk about is finished objects. And I am wearing it. I am wearing the boxy sweater. And that's it. You can't really get a great look at it. I mean, I'm standing on my tippy toes. Maybe if I move back, sorry. If I move back, maybe you could get a better shot. There we go. Okay. So here it is. I'm way back. Going back further, high. Yep, this is it. This is the boxy sweater. I hope this is focusing. And it's meant to be very drapey. I have it styled with skinny jeans, and I don't have boots on. I think it should be styled with skinny jeans and boots, but because it's very drapey and loose and it's supposed to flow, and yeah. Rich compared me to Clint Eastwood in those spaghetti westerns years ago. He was making fun of me when I had it on. But, you know, because it kind of looks like a serape. But it's not. It's lovely. Here's the back, side view. Back. I'm really not tall enough. I'm tiny. I'm only 5'3". Actually, last time I was at the doctor, I was 5'2", but I'm denying that. I really am. So yeah, it's awesome, and you kind of wear it so it doesn't look like so baggy. You kind of wear it with it draped like that. But if you can see, the arms are really skinny from here up, and it's a drop, very, very much a drop shoulder, and it's got these wings kind of that go out. It's really neat construction. You knit it from the bottom up to the armhole, and then you divide. I knit it in the round from the bottom to here. So you can see where I divided, where it got more muted. I had a stronger stripe at the bottom. And it got more muted when I divided it. Then you knit the front, then you knit the back. You attach the shoulders with a 3-needle bind off, and then you knit the sleeves down. And it's a box, if you can see. It's knit in a big rectangle. And I love it. It's amazing. And this is going to be one of my Rhinebeck sweaters. I hope that I get another sweater done before Rhinebeck. I'm planning on it. We shall see. Ah, there I am. Let's see if I can get the focus back in. Okay. So, yeah. That is the boxy, and I'm really enjoying it. I haven't worn it yet anywhere. I'm planning on wearing it to work. This exact same outfit. I have it styled with a little gold jewelry, earrings. You know, I'm girly. I like to do matchy-matchy. It's me. It's always been me. I have just a long sleeve t-shirt on underneath. I very rarely wear wool. In fact, no, I shouldn't say very rarely. I never, ever wear a sweater or a sweatshirt without some sort of undergarment. It's just a thing for me. I don't know. I just really like having that reinforcement and the warmth of an undergarment because I am always, always cold. But I have on these great skinny jeans from, guess where? Begins with a G, ends with a P, has an A in the middle. My favorite store, because their clothes fit me, Gap. And yeah, I have these great legging jeans on with it, and I think it'll be fine. So I'll let you know what people say about the darn thing next week. So yeah, I'm really excited about it. So there's my finished object. I closed the holes on the sleeves. You couldn't notice it. Probably couldn't find, I'd have to really look for it to find the holes because it's such a busy sweater, and it worked out great. Okay, so that's that. Oh, the other thing I did take out 8 rows from the neck, and I like it so much better. It's not rolling. It was rolling terribly. So now I just have the 4 rows and it's not rolling at all. It's great. The only thing is, and I'm just so OCD, I think I picked up a little bit too many stitches for the neck, and it's puckering just slightly. Only I would notice it. Do I want to rip that neckline out and do it again? I might. I don't know. I didn't weave in the end. It's right here. Just in case I decide. I'm going to wear it and see how I feel. No one would probably notice it. But who knows? Maybe I'd want to enter it in Rhinebeck. You never know. Enter it in the show and as a hand-spun, hand-knit sweater. I have to see. I'm sure it fits into some sort of category in Rhinebeck. I can't enter anything in our local fair because I am considered a professional because I get paid for teaching knitting, and that's completely understandable and fair, and I get that. So before I became a professional knitting teacher, I did enter a shawl that I knit for my daughter for her senior prom, which is now 4 years ago. And I won Best in Show. I'm super excited about that. I'm so proud of that. One day I will show you the shawl, and I will also show you the ribbon that I won. And it's pretty exciting to have that. If you ever have a local fair around you, enter your fair. It's awesome. I'd love to enter some hand spun. Maybe I'll do that. Although I suppose you could count me as a professional spinning teacher, technically, because I have taught spinning classes. I taught spinning on a Turkish spindle at Rhinebeck. So, but I haven't taught wheel spinning, so maybe I'll do a wheel spin one. I don't know. I'll have to think about it when the fair comes by. I am probably going to go to the fair this year. It's at the Rhinebeck Fairgrounds. I don't know if I ever mentioned to you guys, I live 40 minutes. If you're a new listener, I live 40 minutes south of Rhinebeck. I live 2 towns down, which is amazing because I just go there the whole weekend. And I don't know if I'm going to be teaching there this year. I'll have to see if my proposal gets accepted. If it does, I'll let you know. They might want something different. So we'll see. Yeah, so I live very close to Rhinebeck, and maybe I'll enter something in the fair this year. The fair is held in August, at the end of August. It's the Dutchess County Fair in New York, and it's really fun. It's a lot of fun. Richie won't go with me, but Emily's home now, and I don't have to take her. I haven't been to the fair in years because I've had to take her to school that same weekend down in Florida. It's August 20th or something. But Emily will totally go to the fair with me. So I'm super excited about going this year. And there's so many great homey, crafty things at the fair. That's the only thing I want to see. So it's super fun. So that's that. I got off on a little bit of a tangent. And now that I'm talking about events like Rhinebeck, let me talk about some events that are coming up this year. I'm not going to many. This is a busy year for us. Last year I went to New Hampshire Sheep and Wool, and that was an amazing, amazing event. And I certainly won't be going to that one this year because that is Emily's graduation weekend. Very exciting. So we'll be in Florida. The only event that I'm toying with going to is Connecticut Sheep and Wool. I have always wanted to go to Connecticut Sheep and Wool. I've heard it's really fun, small, fun festival, and I'd love to go. So it's our anniversary weekend. Rich's and my anniversary is April 27th, and it's always that weekend. So we'll see. Maybe I could talk him into it. If it's a nice day, I might take a ride out to Connecticut. I think it's April 26th. That's coming up really quickly because today's March 1st, guys, which is yay. And I'm looking up at my skylight, covered with snow. I think we're going to get a snow day tomorrow. Oh well. That means one day of our spring break will be, but that's okay. I'll live with that. It's the way it goes. So, possibly Connecticut Sheep and Wool. I got accepted to SSK. I'm not going. I told them way back, I didn't even put a deposit down because Emily and I are going to Disney World, and then we are going on the Disney Dream on a Disney cruise for her graduation. So that's super exciting. Richie won't do Disney in the summer, and he's not interested in a cruise. So she wanted to go somewhere, and I asked her where she wanted to go, and this is what she picked. So it's just the two of us, leaving the boys at home. I'll do something for my son when he graduates someday. So we both love Disney, and yeah, that's my other passion. I really do love Disney World, and I've never been on a Disney cruise, so looking forward to that. I'll talk about it if you want to hear about it. Okay, so that's summer. Fall, the only thing I'm planning right now is Rhinebeck, New York Sheep and Wool. I'll be there certainly Saturday and Sunday. I don't know if I'm going to be taking any classes on Friday. I'll see what's being offered. Last year I took a wonderful class from JC Boggs. It was fabulous. It's the same class that she has on Craftsy right now. Fabulous class. Fabulous. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about that in a later segment because I want to use one of those techniques in a spinning project I have in mind. Rhinebeck, and that's it. That's the only events. Rhinebeck is the only fiber event I'm going to this year. And possibly Connecticut Sheep and Wool. You know, just some years you just don't get to a lot of things. So we'll see. I'd love one of these days I want to go to Maryland. That's a goal. Possibly next year and certainly the following year because Rich will be retired the following year and he wants to go with me. So I think it'd be fun. So anyway, that's enough about that, about events. So where were we? We're talking finish objects. I finished a square for my Great American Afghan blanket. And I love it. Isn't it pretty? So textured. These squares are beautiful. The texture on them are it's just gorgeous texture. And I'm really enjoying knitting the cables. And yeah, loving knitting these. This is square number 5. I have started square number 6. I'm trying to get at least 2 done a month. I would like to get 3 done a month and be done. If I could get done by July, that'd be great. And that'll give me room by August at the very latest. I'll be finished with the 20. So I'm trying to do about 8 rows a night. So this one's going to be a fish. It's really cool. Love working on it. Love it, love it, love it. Slowing me up from finishing other things, but it's okay. I actually have another thing off the needles, and I'm not going to show it to you because it's not blocked. And that is the Isolde Teague Follow Your Arrow Mystery Knit Along, mystery shawl. And I loved knitting that shawl. Fabulous, fabulous knit. I'm going to talk more about it next time. I had some issues toward the end. My issues, not issues with the pattern. And yeah, I fixed it, and it just needs to be blocked. And I can't block it because Emily's home and I block on her bed. So I have to wait till she leaves next week. And by the next recording, I'll have it done. It'll be all pretty to show you, but it's finished and it came out really nice. Okay. So the other thing I'm working on is the Susan B. Anderson Yowza Weigh It shawl. And I'm about 2/3 of the way finished. And it's knit out of Tosh DK. And it's the, I don't have the tag. I'll have the name of it for you next week. But it's really great. Just garter stitch. Easiest thing in the world. Garter, garter, garter. Do some things at the ends and shawl. So I'm almost ready to start the ruffle. I did the math and figured out, drop the ball. I figured out how much I needed to knit on before I started the ruffle. Did a little algebra my own way. Figured solved for X. And basically I have this much left of the second skein of the Tosh DK. And as soon as I finish this, I will do the ruffle with the third skein. And it should come out nice. So I'm really looking forward to finishing that up. It's a present for a coworker. And that's it. The only two things I have on the needles, well, I have three things. I have a sock, my Christmas sock. It's in my purse. I've been taking it and knitting on it when I have a minute, at appointments and things. I am halfway through the second sock, so I'm almost done with that. So the blanket and the shawl are the only two things that I'm really actively pursuing to finish. So that's good. And I want to cast something else on, but I'm not going to until I finish the shawl, because I want to get this done to gift it. However, this brings us, I shouldn't say that, I'm lying. I am going to cast on something else. Do you remember that skein of purple Volmice that I bought about a month and a half ago? And I bought it to knit the Follow Your Arrow shawl. And it was that gray purple that I'm just not fond of. Yeah, I destashed it. So I destashed it and I bought this. You've seen this, I'm sure, in many podcasts. Look at this bag. This is by Suburban Stitcher. It's socks. Isn't it adorable? Love it. And along with it, to match, is this gorgeous skein of mustache yarns in her very limited edition Kama Sutra. She only made 90, and I jumped on that. You had to sign up in her mustache yarns group, her shop group, and I was number 8. I jumped on that. It was set for a time, that you needed to sign up. I think it was 2 weeks ago I signed up, and I jumped on it, and I'm doing it along School of Stash, and I'm in the double gusset class, which is a top-down sock, and I've been knitting all my socks toe up for 2 years now. I love toe up, and I really like it better than top down. It's psychological. I think they go faster. They don't go faster. It's in my head that they go faster. But this sock is going to be knit top down because Turtle Girl 76 is the designer, and she wrote it as a top-down. There is a toe-up version of it, but since I'm doing the school and she's the professor, I'm doing the top-down version. So that's fine. I'm looking forward to casting on a top-down sock. No, yeah, I am. And I wanted to show this to you, and as soon as I stop recording, this baby is going to be cast on. And, ooh, look at that. This has 22 different colors. It's a self-striper, and it has 22 different stripes. Hello. Stacy is so talented. Can you imagine 22? I don't know how they do this. I've seen pictures and a little tutorials on how they do these self-stripers. It's a lot of work. And kudos to you, Stacy. It's amazing. I can't wait to knit with this. I'm really excited. So this is going to get cast on today. Probably while I'm sitting at the bar, not drinking before dinner. And yeah, so I'm excited about starting that. And this bag that it came with, I just love it. It matches perfect. This is my only knitting bag that I own that's not by Amy Beth, Fat Squirrel Speaks. But I just love the fabric, and Diane's such a sweet gal. I wanted to get something from her. So, yep, excited about that. Okay. All right, so that's that. That's pretty much it for what I'm going to be working on. Let's move right on to Knitting Dreams. And Knitting Dreams today is actually going to, I'm hoping, going to turn into a knit-along. And I'm calling it the Chunk-along. So I'm trying to lose 10 pounds. I want to lose this chunk off my body. And I want to, I just want to do a knit-along and lose some of the chunky yarn in my stash to go with it. So this is going to be for 2 months, starting today, March 1st. You won't be seeing this for a couple days, but anyway. So it's going to run from March 1st to, let's say, April 30th. And I'll draw in May. That weekend of April 30th, I'm going to be away in Florida, so that's going to be crazy. So the drawing will be mid-May. So rules are simple. Chunky yarn, hopefully out of your stash. Doesn't have to be. If you want to get chunky yarn for it, that's fine. I'm going to be knitting out of my stash. Knit a skein of chunky yarn. I'm going to say minimum I'm going to say a minimum of 100 grams. You're not going to be able to do much with with less than that, really. This is actually 150 grams, 90 yards of Malabrigo Rasta. And I have 2 skeins of this. A teal one and a blue one. And one of these is going to be a cowl. Probably the drop stitch cowl. I'll link to it. And one of them is going to be a hat. I think I'm going to do this one in the hat. I'm thinking of the Yarn Harlot has a chunky hat with a big fat cable. I'll link to that too. I may do this one in a hat. But I love these. I've had them for a year. They need to be knit. They take, seriously, drop stitch cowl, 2 hours. I'm not kidding. I knit a whole bunch of them last year for Christmas. They're quick, fast. Okay, so I have these 2. I also have, are you ready? Shield your eyes. You might want to put sunglasses on for this one. Oh my goodness. This is crazy. This is showing up the color exactly, pretty much. This isn't Malabrigo. This is Madeline Tosh. ASAP, as soon as possible. It is 90 yards, super bulky. Doesn't say the weight of it. Anyway, I think it's a little less weight than, seems a little thinner. Yeah, it's a little thinner than the Rasta. But look at that. That's a crazy color. It's eye-searing. I love it. I don't know what it's going to be. It's probably going to be some sort of, there's a little shawl pattern that I saw. So what I want you to do is talk in the thread about patterns, because I'd love to see your patterns. I'm going to open up the thread today for the chunk along. Post the rules. You can, one finished object per person. You can post more if you want, but it's going to be one entry per person. And I'll just assign you all a number and do a random drawing. So we're going to just have one thread for it, and you may chatter in the thread. I don't even know if I'm going to get many people. I'm not going to do it unless I get 5 to participate. So if I have 5 participants, I'll do it. So I'm going to give away, I have a pattern from Boston Jen, the Ayla Grace shawl that she had generously said that I could give away on the show. It's been like a month or so, probably 2 months since she told me. But I have that up for grabs. It's a beautiful, beautiful shawl pattern. I'll also throw in another pattern of your choice up to $6. And I will throw in a skein of chunky yarn from my LYS. And I'll let you pick the color. I'll take some pictures and you can pick whatever you want. She's got the Rasta. She has the Tosh ASAP. She has the Misty Alpaca, which is another thing I want to knit. I want to make socks out of this. 2 tones. Foot ovens by the Yarn Harlot. I've made them in the past and put holes in them, and then I felted them by accident. But anyway, I'm going to make a new pair. So this is all the chunky yarn I own. I own 1, 2, 3, 5 skeins. I'd love to knit all this up and get it out of my stash. It'd be awesome by the end of April. We'll see. Maybe this knit along will give me an incentive. So post some patterns, and we'll start that March 1st. And you can win 1 of 2 patterns, and the other prize would be a skein of chunky yarn from my LYS. And she has, oh my gosh, that Malabrigo Rasta. The colors are stunning. I mean, I hope she has some left after the winter. She should. She has a pretty good stock in. So that's a knit along. Yeah, so that's that. That's Knitting Dreams for this week. Moving on to spinning. Here it is. I pretty much finished Clowny. I did a 3-ply. And this is about 400 yards right now. I have a little bit more that I need to ply, but I'm kind of counting it as done. It's just about finished. So I did a 3-ply because that bat was eye-searing bright, and I just didn't want to look like I had a clown collar on when I knit the shawl. So I tried to ply them, and if you could see how muted it is, I mean, it really got a lot more muted plying it with the 3-ply, but it didn't get muddy. So that was awesome. It's about a worsted, and this is about 6 ounces of it. I have 2 more ounces downstairs. So it should be plenty for a Yowza Weigh-It shawl. And I think I'm going to make it and give it to Emily. And I think she'd really enjoy that shawl. And I may wait. I probably will wait to knit it until Diane Suburban Stitcher has her next rainbow along. See how that muted so nicely? This one is a little bit brighter because the colors kind of came together. And here, I'll hold them together. So, yeah, this one is much more muted because it's definitely more Barberpole. This one, you could see the purples and the teals kind of came together, and it's not as muted as the other one. And that's fine. It's going to stripe beautifully. So I can't wait to knit with it. It's going to be amazing when I finish it. So yeah, that's that. So that's pretty exciting. I'm trying to decide what to spin next. Before I do, I want to show you, this was my last shipment from Into the World's Luxe Club. I don't want to take it out of the bag because I destashed it. I think she's paying for it as we speak. It's really pretty. I can see why she did this color because it's very Celtic. It's greens and rusts. It reminds me very much of St. Patrick's Day. These are not my colors. They're not even close to being my colors. These are Amy Beth's colors. Fat Squirrel. She would love this. This fall kind of, this orangey, rusty color with the green, not my color. But it's beautiful. If you love these colors, these are your colors. So this is getting destashed. This is good. I'm getting a lot out of my stash, I'm hoping, this month. So that's okay. I get what I paid for. It's not a big deal. So now that I've finished the Clowny Bat, I definitely want to start spinning for my next sweater again. And that is Tyson, the fleece. I had him, you saw his bobbins a few weeks ago. I have about 5 ounces spun, and I have 11 ounces left. So I'm about a third of the way there. So I'm going to start him again. But I'm dying to spin a bulky yarn. And this also goes along with the chunk along. I would like to spin a bulky yarn with this. Now this also has, now that I look at it, the oranges and the greens, but it also has purple to kind of break it up a little bit. This is Into the World, Polworth, and it's called Vegetable Medley. And I think it's going to be up on my wheel next. I've had this a while. I've had this a couple years. I bought it at the Loopy U. Loopy U is a great place to get yarn and fiber. I don't generally shop there a lot because I shop local most of the time. But this is when I was first collecting stash for spinning, and I got this. So it's called, I don't know if I mentioned, it's called Vegetable Medley. It's in Polworth, and it's beautiful. All the veggie colors. And I want to make a super bulky yarn out of it. I think it would be gorgeous. When I was at SSK, Leslie had spun up a skein of bulky yarn to give away. during a contest there. And it was similar in color, and it was the most beautiful hand-spun skein I ever saw. I know Leslie probably doesn't watch the show. I loved that skein, and I wanted it. I put in to win it, and I didn't win it. So I'm just trying to spin my own. And I'm going to use the technique that J.C. Boggs taught us in the Craftsy class, or in the class that I took. And it's also in her Craftsy class. And I'm going to spin it probably short forward draw because it's a top, remember. All the fibers are lined up. And I'm just going to make sure that I slow down my feet and speed up my hands in order to get that fiber into the orifice, in order to have more fiber in the single to make the bulky yarn. And before I do this though, I'm going to practice on some white top that I have in one of those drawers over there. And I'm going to spin that into, I don't want to just, because I haven't ever done it before, I don't want to just do it on this. I want to try it on something else first. So yeah, so that's my goal. You can spin for the chunk along too. Spin some chunky yarn. So that's that. And yeah, it's the spring of chunk. Get some chunk out of your stash. All this stuff. It's great stuff. I can't wait. I'm excited. So yeah, join the knit along. So anyway, that's pretty much it. Trying to decide whether I want to do Ask the Stitch Mistress. I'm so sorry. I apologize. I can't remember who asked this question. I'm so sorry. It was in the RAV group. It was, how did I start spinning? And I have to say that if it weren't for podcasts, namely the Knitmore Girls with Jasmine and Gigi, I would not be a spinner. Wouldn't even cross my mind. Wouldn't have even been something I would have ever known about or thought about. Not a clue. But I kept hearing about it a lot on podcasts. And I have a friend too who learned to spin right around the same time I did. So maybe she would have talked me into it. I don't know. But I love learning new things. So I decided to take a spinning class. And I won't mention where the class was because I didn't have a good experience. And this is my first skein. It's so sad. It's awful. There's some spun up parts to it. I found it when I was doing my room. It's just, it's overspun, it's underspun, it's not even spun. It's a hot mess. And I did not like it when I took that class. And I said, I don't think I'm going to be doing this. I almost gave up, actually. I mean, it's beautiful in its own right. It's really an art yarn. I'll never knit with it. It's just to remind me of my first skein. So yeah, so I took that class. But then the next day, I was signed up for a spindling class, and I took that and fell in love. I thought I brought over my first spindling is over there, but I'm not going to get it. That doesn't look much better than this, but at least I had a better experience in the class because the wheel spinning class did not teach me anything at all about drafting. At least I don't remember them teaching me about drafting, which I think is the single most important thing about spinning. If you can learn to draft, you'll spin. Yeah, That was terrible. But anyway, I learned how to draft in the spindling class. And then I was like, oh, this isn't so bad. And then I started spindling, and I spindled before I bought a wheel. I had a Golding that I spun a lot of singles on, and it was a part of a kit, a beginning spindling kit from Golding. Beautiful tsunami spindle, but I do stash it because it's huge, and I prefer to spin on a lighter spindle, so I sold that. And then I just started buying spindles. I have a nice collection of spindles. This was going to be the year of the spindle. Not going to happen. I have a lot of wheel spinning to do this year. I'm going to spindle on my spindles, but I think next year I'm really going to concentrate on the spindling. I really am. I'm in the process of spinning for the D-Spackle for Kristen, Yarngasm's Spin Along, Knit Along. And I'm hoping to finish that by the end of March as well. Wow, I have a lot to do in March. So anyway, so that's pretty much the story of my spindle, or my spinning. I've been spinning, let's see, I took that, I don't even know now, 4 years now? My wheel is 3 years old. I bought it in 2012. I bought it the first year I started podcasting. It's March. I got it in March. So 3 years. And I think I've come a long way. You know, and actually the 3 years that I've owned the wheel, I've come a long way since I got that wheel. So spinning is lifelong, like knitting. I'm still learning things every time I spin. And I mean, this one was, I had to spin in a drafting method I never used before, short backward draw. Long draw wasn't working for me on this because it was giving me too many slubs, and for this yarn I didn't want that. So it's pretty thick and thin, but that's okay. I'm cool with that. So you need to have a lot of different ways to do your drafting, I think, to be a successful spinner, to get what you want. I don't want to be a person who just does it the same way every time. I would be bored out of my mind. If I just sat down at that wheel and drafted the same way every time, I don't think I'd last very long as a spinner, because I just need things to change it up a little. It's just me. It's my ADD kicking in. I need something different. So yeah, so my chunky yarn will be fun to practice some chunky drafting. So that'll be cool. And yeah, that's it for the spinning. That's pretty much it for the show, guys. If you have any other questions about anything, leave it in the Ask the Stitch Mistress thread. I would be happy to do more tutorials. I got some great feedback on my Nitty Nutty tutorial. That is up as a standalone on YouTube if you want to rewatch anytime, and rather than going through the whole show to get the tutorial. Ask me what you want me to do as a tutorial, and I'll set up my camera and try to work on that for you guys this year. And with that, have a great week. Emily's dying to come up here and play D&D. I share the room with her. She's here this week on spring break, so I have to share. Anyway, have a great week and see you next time.